Hey everyone, it's Dion with Racers360 here. We are going to go through High Plains Raceway corner by corner to give you everything that you need to know for a fast and safe lap around here. It's a really tough track, and it's a track that we need to be able to really be strong in trail braking and slow turn-ins. There's a lot of these long duration corners where we want to have a late rotation and a late apex, and early apexes, especially in 111, can get you in trouble. So let's go ahead, let's turn the volume down here and go straight into turn one. So as we're approaching turn one, there's not many great reference points on this racetrack. So where your eyes are looking, and eye discipline is really critical. We need to be looking down towards the apex into turn one already. As we're approaching, you can see here there's not much that you can consistently rely on. This weekend, yeah, there's some good posts right here, but that's not going to be something that's going to be consistently there. So we're going to use a lot of depth perception here to judge our turn-in points and our peaking areas. First thing that we want to highlight here and going into turn one is going to be a flag over here to our right-hand side. So turn one is a corner that we want to have a decently late trail break in, but it's not really an entry speed corner, is not much of an exit speed corner. It's one of those like kind of right in the middle. So you're going to see here, we're going to have a pretty slow turn-in point as we're approaching the corner. And the best vision you can use is the apex point on the curve. We definitely do not want to be apexing part of this apex curve. That's going to push you too wide initially here. So what we really want to execute on, so this is not where we want to apex, where we do want to apex is going to be more right about mid-curve. And we want to make sure that we're going to apex about mid-curve and use all of the track early so we have enough time to work it back mostly to the left to set up for turn two here. So we're going to come through, see how our driver's apexing right middle of the curve. This is where we want to apply our initial throttle. If you're getting the throttle any earlier than that, you probably overslowed the corner. We need to fix that overslowing first by building the discipline to say, hey, I'm not going to get to throttle before I start to unwind the steering wheel. So this is where we're going to get to throttle. We want to use all of road on exit here. Our driver does a really, really nice job. But you're going to notice here, our driver gets a little bit lazy and doesn't hustle it back to the left side of the road. We don't necessarily need to get all the way back to the left and get parallel with the white line here, but we definitely want to get back over like 3/4 of the way so we can set up with a nice diamond through turn two. As we go further here, see how our driver just doesn't really hustle it to the left at all. So we want to make sure that we do that. Get back over to the left about at least another half car width over to the left. And the big reason why is because what we want to execute on here is very much a diamond. We want to kind of break from the outside of the track towards the middle of the track, breaking in an angle like this, which then is going to make the rotation slightly less. But we're going to see here our driver is going to brake very much in a straight line. They're going to keep it towards the inside of the corner, so they're not going to get enough rotation. And then we're going to see they're going to really fight the car coming out of turn two towards turn three because of that. So we're going to see here, we're too close in. We want to be about a half car width or so wider. Again, not a rain line or following the outside. We do want to come from the outside, brake in a straight line, or at an angle, I should say. Going to be looking in about our angle that is about here, and our right side tires should be about there-ish. So about mid-track at this point. We're going to be braking towards the outside of the track. Right here is where we want our rotation to come. And if you're going to be wider, you're going to come from, if we're coming from about a car width or so wider, we're going to be able to get more rotation. We're going to have a car angle that's looking more in this direction, where because our driver's too tight right now, they're looking a little bit more in this direction, which then means this second part of turn two is tighter than it needs to be. They're not able to unwind the steering wheel as they're picking up throttle. And what we're going to see here, let's play at full speed. Watch their hands. They're going to really fight the car as they're picking up throttle. We can get the play. There it goes. See right there. Big fight, big fight, big fight. And now they're finally going. It's because they held it too tight in. They didn't get enough rotation. They had a lot of steering input as they were applying a lot of throttle. The car doesn't like that, and you're going to have to have big moments because of that. So we want to get out wider, get the car to rotate in, and then we really want to be coming back towards the second curve, apexing about mid-curve-ish, just before mid-curve. This is where we're really going to get back to significant throttle. Then unwind the steering wheel, use all the track on exit here so we can set up for turn 3 and get a big jump on that long straightaway down to turn 4. Turn 3, we care more about the exit, but there's a good amount of entry speed we can flow in there. It's going to be a light brake, off, wait, go, 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 go. Our driver here uses the curve, for general track breakdown where we talk about or try to give a guide to people in many different types of cars. Curbs are going to be, for the most part, a driver preference thing. Try avoiding it, try using it. See which one works better for you and your car. Typically, we're going to talk about maybe not using this curb. You can really see from where we paused it how aggressive of a curb it really is. So in our gut feeling here, if we're talking about coaching this driver, we would say, hey, avoid the curb. I don't think it really helps. But for some of you in a more compliant car, go for it. Give it a try. That's going to be more of a driver preference and car situational thing. Get that run onto the straightaway here. Open the hands, let the car be free on the long run down to turn 4. So turn 4 brake, you can see here we're going to be pretty downhill. So just anticipate that as we're approaching. It's going to be a lot of speed. Starts to flatten off a little bit here. Then our brake zone, again, not any great markers. We're going to be looking at these kind of markers here on our left-hand side, but there's nothing really that's reliable. So use your depth perception, be making sure you're looking far forward through here into turn 4. It's going to be an entry speed corner. There's not many big brake zones that end up going into an entry speed corner. So this is a little bit of a funky one. So we want to have a hard initial brake, hold it, but then pretty soon after getting up to peak pressure, we want to start releasing off of that brake, roll the speed in, and if you're only picking up the throttle after the apex curve, that's okay. We want to bring enough entry speed in here to where we're apexing about mid-curve, and we're not picking up the throttle any earlier than that. So if you're picking up the throttle back up in this area here, you've overslowed the corner most likely. So bring in that entry speed, picking up the throttle here, use all of the road on exit. Some of you may have enough time to get back to the right side of the road here, but we're also got to be careful. We are about to drop downhill into turn 5. So we want a pretty early turn in. Uphill corners, downhill corners, and cambered corners typically are going to need earlier turn-in points. So be anticipating. We've just brought a lot of speed in through turn 4. It's easy to overshoot turn 5. So as we come up through turn 4, again, check in on your eyes. Make sure we're looking, getting ready. We're starting to slow the car down. We're coming off the brakes slowly here. Now, it's hard to see because of our driver's helmet's a little bit in the way, but our next flag stand is here on the entry or middle of turn 5. So make sure that you're checking that out. We're about to drop downhill, so we want to make sure we're identifying, making sure there's nothing that we can't see, and there's a yellow flag. So as the road really starts to drop downhill, that's where our initial turn-in is going to come. We want a decently early-ish apex. Our driver here, you can see they turned a little late, a little too aggressively, and that's why they're fighting the car. Our apex comes just before mid-curve. That's, again, where we want to pick up the initial throttle, let the car be free, use all of the road on exit here. So as we get that good exit, we're going to set ourselves up for a really good run out of here as we go down to turn 6 and then get it through 6 to 7. So we're coming out here, again, once again, downhill into turn 6, downhill brake zone. So anticipate that you're not going to have the same braking grip as everywhere else into turn 6. Turn 6, again, our driver actually does a really great job through turn 6 this lap. So I'm going to let it just play full speed, and let's take a look at their line because it looks really solid. That was beautiful. So what did they do correctly here? They had a really nice job on the trail brake and a really slow initial turn, got that rotation mid-corner, and got back down to that apex. Similar to what we want to execute in turn 2 is this line here. So they're all the way to the left side of the road. They're braking diagonally. They're not getting all the way to the inside here. They're about mid-road. They're braking towards the outside of the track. Notice how they're not using all of the road on the track. They're about 3/4 over to the left is perfect. Right about mid-corner, they get that rotation. They're going to come back in. They're apexing mid-curve here. This is where we want to pick up the throttle. No earlier than this. We want to be trail braking almost all the way down here. picking up the throttle, and then using all of the road out over here exactly, and then getting the run out of here as we go towards turn 7. That was beautiful. So into turn 7 here, our next flag stand is going to be out here on the outside of the track. And it's uphill, it's blind over the crest there, so make sure you identify, hey, there's nothing that we can't see, no yellow flags beyond turn 7 because it is blind. Going up to turn 7, steep uphill. What did we just say? Early turn-in points for uphill, cambered, and downhill corners. So obviously, as with anything, you can turn too early. There's a limit to that. But we do want a little bit early of a turn-in point. Right about where this flag stand starts is where our driver is going to be turning in. And we can flow great entry speed in. The reason why we want to turn a little bit early uphill, because you can flow more speed, and you can use that uphill to help slow the car down for you, rather than having to only slow it on the brakes as you approach the corner. So you can see that a little bit early of a turning point, apexing the start of this apex curve, go, 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 go. You're going to hold that apex, though, until the end of the apex curve. You can definitely open your hands too early, and that's going to push you wide. So hold that apex, then let the car be free. See, our driver doesn't quite use all of the road out there to the left. We can let the car be free and use all of this road. You can see a little bit of road down in here. So let the car be free out of 7 there, and then use all of the road as we approach the brake zone to turn 8. Turn 8, we're going uphill still. For most cars, the brake zone's going to start as the road kind of crests. You can see here our driver is still going uphill, and then as soon as the road crests, this is where they're braking. So just anticipate that as the road crests, hard on the brakes, starting to release, 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 release. We've just had a series of pretty fast corners, so it's easy to overdrive turn 8 here. This is going to be more of an exit speed corner and a decently late apex, so we want to be trail braking, trail braking, trail braking, only getting the throttle right about here, right at our apex point, mid-curb. No earlier than that, we want to trail brake all the way down through there, get the throttle, get the exit, use all of the road so we can get a good run through the turn 9 S's here. Here, our eyes are up, looking far forward. You can see, once again, turn 10, it's going to be downhill on entry. We want to be turning in, no great turn-in marker, but again, downhill. So we're going to have a little bit early of a turn-in point, get the car pointed. We're going to be apexing just past the start of this apex curve. Holding it, bam, getting out on the exit. We can see a flag sound out over here to our left as we're approaching turn 11. Turn 11, similar to turns 2 and 6. It's got a pretty late apex, so it's going to be a long, slow turn-in point. We're going to be downhill into it. So once again, we want to be braking towards the middle of the track. You can see our driver here starts their turn-in point. As the road kind of starts to curve in, we'll be braking towards the middle of the track, releasing, releasing, releasing. And then we want to apex, mid-apex curve out over here, mid-apex curve, and that's where we're going to pick up the throttle so we can get good entry speed and then maximize our exit uphill here out of 11. Let the car be free. Turn 11 is a corner that an early apex can get you in trouble. It'll push you way wide on exit. So if you're trying to get to throttle and you're running out of road with understeer on exit and having to lift because you're running out of that road, you probably apex too early. So we really want to make sure that we've got a nice, slow, progressive turn-in, apexing later so that we're unwinding the steering wheel as we're getting the throttle, and we're not having to check up off the throttle. Checking off the throttle after we're getting back to significant throttle costs a lot of lap time. And at Racers360.com, we have a great free article talking about why and how much time that really does cost. So make sure you go to our free driver education forums at Racers360.com. So we're coming up out of 11 here. You can see another flag stand here to our left-hand side. And again, it's really uphill and it's blind here, so we need to be making sure that we're really looking for those flag stands here at High Plains. They're important everywhere to look for, but they're especially critical at High Plains because a lot of the corners are blind. So as we come up through 12, make sure you take a glance out over there, see how we're kind of holding the inside here through 12, opening up, let the car be free as we're working our way towards the 13, 14, 15 section. So 13 is really the corner that's going to be where our front straightaway starts. Uphill into the brake zone, and we want to be thinking and maximize our exit. So uphill, a little bit hard initial brake, but immediately starting to release, throttle. So you can see right here, our driver is apexing right about mid-curb, which is perfect. Throttle right about here. We want to be aggressive back to throttle as we drop downhill, trying to be full throttle through these 14, 15 S's. Let the car be free out of 14 there, and get that run onto the front straightaway. Sorry, 15 is the last corner. So let the car be free out of 15 to maximize that run onto the front straightaway. So that's been the Racers 360 track breakdown at High Plains Raceway. We hope that you found a lot of value out of this, and we can help you get faster on the racetrack through our free track breakdowns. We also hope you'll consider going to Racers360.com. We have a lot of great free driver educational articles written from the very best coaches in the business. And you can also get personally coached from drivers like Memo Gidley, Mike Skeen, Jay Buford, the best coaches and drivers in the world, starting at only $99. All you have to do is upload your onboard video, just like this. We don't need any data. It can be off of iPhone, it can be off of GoPro, or any more advanced camera system. You upload it to us, and coaches will review your entire lap or race, and they'll go corner by corner and talk about specific actionable coaching items for you to drive faster. Just like what you saw here, many of our drivers are gaining 1, 2, 3, even 4 seconds a lap after just one video, and that we started at $99. So we hope you visit Racers360.com. We look forward to working with you and see you at a track soon.